I'm sure most of you know that yesterday, I believe it was around 11 a.m. Central Time down in El Paso, Texas, a 21-year-old, his name is Patrick Crusius. He went into a Walmart down in El Paso. He mowed down he killed 20 innocent people. 27 are wounded. My last time hearing reports are that 3 of the wounded are in critical condition and many others are in stable condition. So obviously the death toll might increase from that. And not even 24 hours later. Even 24 hours later. Like I remember when we saw each other this morning, you said to me, "Yeah, there's another shooting."
Yeah,
it's just
it wasn't 20. It was because that happened yesterday afternoon. When I remember, I didn't get back here till like 1:00.
Right.
And then I saw it, and that's when I went live on Instagram.
Right.
And so it was maybe 12 hours because
Right.
it was the nightclub, so it wasn't past 2. The only place that stayed open until 4 is Vegas and New York.
And MD is right. I should say 21-year-old white male, Patrick Crusius. Good correction. Thank you for that. We'll call him alleged. He's been apprehended in El Paso. And less than 24 hours later, 24-year-old, right now alleged, Connor Betts, murdered 9 people at a bar in Dayton, Ohio, and 26 others are injured. In the case of Dayton, Ohio, Ty, I'll cover Long Beach event if you want. I don't know what that means.
Bernie's going to be in Long Beach.
Okay.
That's the tall guy that we interviewed.
So I don't know if, I think this is relevant. From all accounts, there was police in Dayton just patrolling that area anyway. And, when we criticize the police, they deserve it. But I think in this case, apparently they got in there within 1 minute.
Which they said he could have killed.
Yeah, he could have killed dozens more. Which shows you he was able to kill 9 people in 60 seconds. And it could have been a lot worse. Also relevant to say, in the El Paso shooting, 3 Mexicans were killed. Obviously, El Paso is right on the border of Mexico. 7 other Mexicans were injured. And I think there's a lot of different ways to go. We're going to get to the gun aspect of this, because the headline is the United Guns of America, contrary to what Republicans say and gun manufacturers say and Ted Cruz says and Marco Rubio says. People have mental illness all over this world.
Yeah.
But in other countries, people with mental illness are not able to carry out heinous crimes with a bottle opener or a knife. You've seen some stabbing events in other countries, but you have multiple people stabbing many people. In these cases, you usually have one shooter. And again, in the Ohio case, we're talking this alleged shooter, 24-year-old, killed 9 people in 60 seconds. Would have been way worse if the police did not respond the way they did.
Yeah.
So I want to start with the obvious, which is I don't think anti-immigrant fervor started under Donald Trump. I think anti-immigrant fervor, frankly, started probably dating back to Reagan. I think it ratcheted up. Anti-immigrant favor, blaming Mexicans and Muslims and brown people as the other, ratcheted up heavily under Newt Gingrich and those Republicans in the 90s. And then, obviously, it got really jacked up beginning with the Tea Party around 2010, 2011. So all of this, Mexicans as the others, and because I am going to read some of the manifesto from the El Paso shooter, because beyond the fact that he's obviously mentally unhinged, he's just wrong. This killer, this murderer, this white supremacist, let's call it what it is. He's a white supremacist. And I see some people tweeting online, he's a white nationalist. That's not the same thing as a racist. You're a f***ing idiot. Whoever is tweeting those things, white nationalist, is more tribal. It's not racist. No, it's racist. So I want to get to all of these things that I said came before Trump and built up to Trump. The otherization under Reagan which I think increased under Gingrich and these extremist Republicans beginning in the 90s. Of course, the Tea Party, which was masked as, about debt and deficit. Well, there was a lot of white people out there with signs about Obama and Mexicans. But Donald Trump is a manifestation of all of those things, and he's a vessel for those things. And although we can't exclusively blame
Reagan,
him.
though? I think Reagan was literally had a come in here mentality. Like his policies for immigration, especially in Mexico, he had the most. Like he wrote policies for them to be able to get in here easily.
The immigrants taking your jobs. That philosophy, and the immigrants are taking your job, and the immigrants are.
I know he came up with the woman, the queen, the what's name queens,
the welfare queen. And by the way, I don't know. A lot of people don't know this. Ronald Reagan was the one originally with the slogan "Make America Great Again."
No. Nixon was actually the first one with "Make America Great Again." Then it went to Reagan. Then it went to Donald Trump. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So.
And America First. America First actually started from a racist thing back in the 50s.
Right.
And Reagan used it.
So.
And Roger Stone was on Reagan's campaign.
Oh, yeah.
And Nixon's campaign.
Mm-hmm.
And Trump's campaign.
So I want to, prefacing that we can't exclusively say this anti-immigrant, anti-invaders started before Donald Trump. He has greenlit it to be basically a crisis. He has made it into these people's minds a crisis. So obviously, there's many clips of this, but let's start just with this one.
Organized caravans of migrants are marching toward our southern border. Some people call it an invasion. It's like an invasion. They have violently overrun the Mexican border. You saw that 2 days ago. These are tough people in many cases. A lot of young men, strong men, and a lot of men that maybe we don't want in our country. But again, we'll find that out through the legal process. But they've overrun the Mexican police, and they've overrun and hurt badly Mexican soldiers. So this isn't an innocent group of people. There's a large number of people that are tough. They've injured, they've attacked, and the Mexican police and military has actually suffered. And I appreciate what Mexico is trying to do. So let me begin by stating that these illegal caravans will not be allowed into the United States, and they should turn back now because they're wasting their time. They should apply to come into our country. We want them to come into our country very much. We need people to help us with all of these companies that are coming in. We've never had anything like this. We have car companies coming in. We have Foxconn, so involved with the manufacturing of Apple products, coming in Wisconsin. We have a lot of companies coming in. They have to apply, and they have to be wonderful people that are going to love our country and work hard. And we've already dispatched for the border the United States military, and they will do the job. They're setting up right now, and they're preparing. We hope nothing happens. But if it does, we are totally prepared. Greatest military anywhere in the world, and it's going to be and is now in great shape, no longer depleted like it was when I took over as the President of the United States.
Right before the midterms, we know that his strategy before the midterms was kind of the Fox News fear-mongering machine that Roger Ailes set up so powerfully. Where he just doubled down. The immigrants, they're coming, they're invading. The Mexicans in their caravan, they're invading. He used phrases like attack, attack, attack. Opening sentence of the El Paso shooters manifesto. In general, I support the Christchurch shooter and his manifesto. This attack is in response to the Hispanic invasion of Texas. So, right there, what you see is basically replicating our president's language about an invasion. You heard him refer to it as an invasion. You heard him refer to it as an attack from these sinister invaders. He went on to say, they are the instigators, not me. I am simply defending my country from cultural and ethnic replacement brought by an invasion. Some people think this statement is hypocritical because of the nearly complete ethnic and cultural destruction brought to the Native Americans by our European ancestors. But this just reinforces my point. The natives didn't take the invasion of Europeans seriously, and now what's left is just a shadow of what was. My motives for this attack are not at all personal. Actually, the Hispanic community was not my target before I read The Great Replacement. This manifesto will cover the political and economic reasons behind the attack, my gear, my expectations of what response this will generate, and my personal motivations and thoughts.
That's scary.
There's so many things wrong with this, and I'm actually going to go through this and just debunk it line by line, because I think it's important. And some people don't want to show the manifesto. I think you have to. I think it's important. First of all, some people think this statement is hypocritical because of the nearly complete ethnic and cultural destruction brought to the Native Americans by our European ancestors. But this reinforces my point. The natives didn't take the invasion of Europeans seriously, and now what's left is just a shadow of what was. I don't want to speak for Native Americans, but I've spent some time with Native Americans in my reporting. I think they took it seriously. I think they were pretty outnumbered by the settlers that came over fleeing the British. It was a revolution, and although the settlers that then became the colonists and the original Americans were fleeing Great Britain and that tyranny, they did not care about butchering, killing, raping, kidnapping Native Americans. So this, maniacal psychopath that killed all these people, I don't think it's that they didn't take it seriously. I think they were pretty outnumbered, both by weapons, bodies, and sheer force. Your thoughts?
I think personally that it's scary when you think about his how he rationalized it. Now we can argue back and forth whether Native Americans took it seriously or not, but at a certain point at the beginning, Native Americans trusted them. They trusted, they welcomed them. And through them being trusting and welcoming these people, they got manipulated. And what's scary about him using that example, I actually think it's hypocritical. So people think it's hypocritical. I'm not sure if they have whatever message board that he talks and they have a discussion, but to be able to rationalize that, like, to me, I can see someone using that as a great example to why we need to kill Hispanics, because look at what we did. Like, we actually did this, and this actually can be accomplished, and it seems like they're doing it. That's scary, because that's like, what do they call a call? Like a call to arms to people, because anyone can hang their hat on that just like he did. You know what I mean? Like, that manifesto, that reasoning why would make so much sense to a person that thinks the way he thinks. A white person that feels like, that's the scary thing about it to me, is that you can't. How do someone that believe that? How could someone else argue him down if they really? That's kind of scary to me. It's just because I can see a lot of people like, yeah, we did that. It can be done. So let's prevent that because they didn't. You know what I'm saying? Regardless if they did or didn't, if they believe that. And where we are now, as this is being a white country, when it started off as a native to the Americans that was already here, I don't know, man.
Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statusquo.com where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Membership is how we grow. That's statusquo.com/join. And remember, join our email list so we can grow the revolution with you.